Hello, as you can see by the title of this video, you can see that a very traumatic experience has happened to me recently. Here's what happened. The other night I was hanging out with my best friend, like we always do, and eventually I got tired, so I ended up going to bed. Well, the next morning I awoke and everything seemed to be normal, and I wandered around my apartment for a little bit, and then that's when I found it. That's when I found his body. I'm not sure if he died by suicide or natural causes. I hope it's natural causes, because suicide, well, that wouldn't be good. Being the person to find someone's body is traumatic enough, especially when it's your best friend's body. I can't even fathom the words to describe how I was feeling when I found his corpse there. I hope that you'll never have to go through this kind of experience in your life, because yeah, my best friend and I, we have known each other since 2008 or 2009. I don't remember the exact year, but that's not important. I do remember, though, that as soon as we met, I knew in my head that we would be best friends forever, no matter what. We shared so many life experiences together. He was there for me no matter what. He was the one friend that I could always count on, that no matter what I was feeling, he would be able to cheer me up, and he would be there for me. He was like my support system, if you will. The world is a much sadder place now that he is gone. He will always have a special place in my heart. Rest in peace, my friend. This is his body. Yes, he is a wireless router. Specifically, he is the Linksys WRT 610N router. And that router has been the most reliable router that I have ever owned. I bought it in 2008 or 2009, and I installed DD-WRT firmware on it, and it has ran flawlessly. It is the best router that I've ever owned, and I have owned many routers. The first router I remember owning was a D-Link DIR614+, and that router was complete and utter garbage. The wireless would disconnect all the time, and it just had many other issues that I can't remember, but I do remember that it was the worst wireless router I've ever owned, and ever since then I have never bought a D-Link product. Yes, it was a wireless B router and we're already at wireless AC, but still, the DIR614+ was terrible. After I threw that router out in the garbage where it belonged, I got the Linksys WRT 54GL. And that router was a night and day difference between the DIR614+. It worked so well. Later on, I found out that the Linksys WRT series routers could actually be hacked, and you could put this firmware on it called DD-WRT, which was basically like an open source firmware that you could install on it, and it would allow you to do so much more than the regular Linksys firmware would. The regular Linksys firmware was perfect for the everyday average consumer, but if you wanted more options, then you could install DD-WRT. And man, the vast array of options that you could do on there is just mind-boggling and so cool. I didn't even touch half the features in there, but it was awesome. And also I found it to be more stable than the regular Linksys firmware. Also, Linksys was owned by Cisco. In the corporate IT world, Cisco is known as the go-to company for your networking products. So the fact that they owned Linksys just meant, wow, this is great. This is a product with a Cisco brand backing on it. Later on, Wireless N came out, and it wasn't regulated yet. It was still in its draft stages. And well, I needed to have it because it was the newest thing in technology, so I went out and got the WRT 300N. And that router was awesome. It had Wireless N, and what was interesting with that, it had external antennas, and you could stack it like on top of another Linksys WRT product because they were like made for stacking. And also, it had the external antennas, and the Wireless N antenna was like this giant square that would stick out. And just, oh, that router was great too. I also installed DD-WRT on it. Eventually, I realized that my LAN needed an upgrade because it was only megabit, and I wanted to make the change over to gigabit so that everything would be faster. And well, the previous WRT router that I was owning at the time, well, it only was megabit, so I wanted a gigabit. So then I went out and bought the WRT 610N, and that router was gigabit, and that's the router that just died the other day. And it went from a stackable option and external antennas to internal antennas and non-stackable. But hey, whatever. That router worked so great. I never had any problems. I've never owned a better router. That's the longest I've ever owned a single router. Normally I would have just bought another WRT router, But now that Linksys was sold by Cisco to Belkin in 2013, I'm kind of iffy on buying another Linksys product because it's owned by Belkin. Belkin is known for making cables and adapters and stuff like that, not for their routers. Like, yes, they've made routers before, but I've never heard anyone say anything good about it. I've never had a friend of mine be like, oh, my Belkin router is like the best router ever. No, I've never heard that. All I've heard is problems. So I decided to switch away from the Linksys brand. Now, because I was switching away from Linksys, it left me with a couple of options. I could switch to another brand. I could get a D-Link router, but that's never going to happen because of the DIR614+. I could get a Netgear router. I could get a Linksys router, but I'm not. I could get a Cisco corporate router, but those are expensive. Or I could get an Asus router. And that's what I decided to get because Asus, they're known for making quality motherboards and I love their motherboards. So I figured, hey, why not get an Asus router? Because they can make motherboards, there's motherboards inside of routers, so why not? Also, a couple of my friends actually have Asus routers and they swear by them. They have said nothing but good things about them. So I figured, hey, let's give Asus a try. So I went out and bought a wireless AC router from Asus, whatever their newest one is that they have that's actually released. It was released, I think, January 2014, but it's like the latest and greatest. There's another one coming, but I didn't want to wait because I had no internet. So I went with a wireless AC router from Asus. And I have it set up and it's working. I have no problems with it. It took maybe like 10 minutes to set it up. And the fact that it supports wireless AC is really cool. I now need to go get a product that actually uses wireless AC. I don't think my phone does. Anyways, I could keep talking on and on about technology and routers, but I'm not going to waste your time. So I'm going to end the video here. In the comments below, let me know what brand of router you own. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sorry for leading you on the beginning of that video, but hey, it was interesting. Bet you didn't think it was a router I was talking about. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I will see you next week. Don't forget to have an epically awesome day. Bye!